Hello, everyone. Thank you. If you join me tonight or watch me tonight, thank you for supporting me on Tease Tao. I'm excited to talk to you tonight. The question I have for you is, how do you treat yourself? I went for many years treating myself very poorly. Beating myself up. And I know this is so common for many of us. And so what I want to talk about, something that's really fundamental to our well-being, but often overlooked, and that's self-compassion. We just let our mind, our words, our brain beat ourselves up, and we do not give ourselves the grace that we give other people. And part of this is because we live in a world where we are constantly striving for perfection. Society, magazines, everything, comparing ourselves to others. We put so much pressure on ourselves for that perfection. And practicing self-compassion is so necessary for the skills for nurturing kindness and resilience within ourselves. So what exactly is self-compassion? It is really the practice of treating yourself with the kindness and the understanding and the empathy that we treat others. It's simple as that. Think about how we treat others in a time of need, a dear friend or somebody, and how kind and giving and loving we are to them. But how hard we are on ourselves. Do we do that for ourselves? And it really is a practice of embracing our humanity, our imperfections, and offering ourselves that same warmth and nurturing that we give to others. There is research that practicing self-compassion is so important for our mental and our physical health. And we are better able to cope with the struggles that happen in life and to bounce back from them. So I want to talk about ways that we can cultivate self-compassion. And one of it, really the first and foremost of all things, is being mindful of our self-talk. Pay attention to the language that we use to ourselves. I know in my head it has been really nasty, really bad at times, and I'm sure for a lot of you it has too. And that constant criticizing and beating ourselves up doesn't do us any good. The way we speak to ourselves matters. The way our subconscious and our brain accepts all of this matters. The way we feel matters with the words that we speak to ourselves. So through speaking to ourselves with gentleness and with understanding can really go a long ways in helping us to have some self-compassion. The other thing is mindfulness, and by mindfulness I mean being present in the moment, observing our thoughts and feelings. And part of that catching yourself with that inner judge is really being mindful of catching yourself when you say those harsh words to yourself. And it's not judging. It's not judging because they're judging us. It's just accepting that is what you heard, what your self-talk said, and to be able to correct it and say, I'm not going to listen this time. We need to approach our experiences with curiosity and openness and create that space for self-compassion. When we feel overwhelmed or stressed, Tosh, thank you. When we feel overwhelmed or stressed, we need to stop and take a breath and connect with our inner kindness and our compassion and challenge that inner critic. It's so often our inner judge is not correct, and we need to challenge that. So another aspect of self-compassion is recognizing our humanity. Really, it's easy when we are feeling bad about ourselves to feel isolated and to believe that we're the only ones facing that challenge. And the truth is, we're all human. We're all experiencing those same kinds of things. So we're not alone. And if we can remember that and even seek support from someone close to us to help us that, but recognizing that we're not alone in our struggles can really help in that sense of connecting and giving ourselves some kindness. Some other things are practicing self-care. We, as a society, particularly we as women, feel guilty. We feel guilty taking time for ourselves. We feel guilty doing things that bring us joy. We're so busy taking care of our families. And if we can prioritize those things that bring us joy, that nurture our soul, and make sure that you are scheduling that time for relaxation and nourishing our mind, our body, our soul, that can go a long ways too in that self-compassion. It's that same idea back again of giving that same grace and that same kindness and that same understanding you would to somebody else. We need to do that. You would tell somebody else who is struggling, go take some time for yourself. Do some self-care. We talk about it to others all the time. Self-care is so important. We need to absorb that ourselves. I think one of the other things is, and this goes back again to a lot of society and pressures that are put on us, but we need to set realistic expectations. I am not going to have the body of that model or the youth of those other people. It's not going to happen. You have to set realistic expectations or you're going to feel like you failed and beat yourself up. Don't set those high standards on yourself. Set realistic expectations. And then practice forgiveness. Forgive yourself for those past mistakes. I spent a lot of my life having guilt and beating myself up for shortcomings and things that have happened in my life. And it really took looking within and practicing this self-compassion to stop myself from holding on to the guilt and the self-blame. And that all that does is perpetuate negativity. We need to be able to forgive ourselves and know that we are human and mistakes happen. And I think another thing, I'm going to go back a little bit because I'm talking about that idea of perfection. We need to let go of that myth. None of us are perfect. We're human, and embracing our imperfections is so important in accepting ourselves and having self-compassion. And so instead of striving for perfection, embrace your flaws. Embrace the things that make you unique. Those are the things that make you special. Those are the things that other people love about you, are those things that make you stand out from the norm, from everything else. And it's the guilt and all of that. I love you guys. Thank you. It's the guilt and all that makes you stuck. So some other ways I'll just mention, really journaling about your feelings, really journaling as you are even doing that negative self-talk, writing it out and trying to think through, why am I feeling this way? Why am I, what is it from my past that is making me do this? Just even writing it out can help you get started with that. And setting boundaries, sometimes it's other people. Sometimes it really is other people that creates a lot of that negativity, that self-doubt, and that inability to have compassion for yourself. Get out of those situations, get away from those people, and cultivate a mindset of gratitude. If you practice gratitude, if you practice journaling gratitude, I really encourage writing it out. If you practice gratitude, it can really shift your perspective. And it can really help then in those times when you're struggling to find the positives in that. I have said so many times on here, all of the negative, all the things that happen to us are either a lesson or opportunity. We all have bad things that happen to us, and thinking of it as what is the lesson, what is the opportunity here, because there's always something there. And so those are kind of some of my tips for cultivating self-compassion. It is so, so, so important. And I want to leave you with this reminder. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of kindness. You are worthy of compassion simply because you're human. And if we can cultivate self-compassion, we are not only nurturing kindness for ourselves and a resilience within ourselves, but we're creating compassion for others in a caring world for all. So that's my message for tonight. I love you all. I love you all who hopped on. Thank you so much for hopping on and watching this Tease Tao. And yeah, I love you all. Appreciate the support. And I will see you next week on Tease Tao. Actually, next week, I might be broadcasting from a beach. I will be in Florida next week, and depending on the weather, I will still do my Tease Tao, but depending on the weather, I might be outside on the beach. Who knows? All right, guys. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.